must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
It is a place of economy and liberty and freedom, of enterprise and thought. But this is what The Economist also said of Mr. Modi. Mr. Modi said, appears to rise heroically above his foes. He becomes a vessel for dreams, not only of national glory, but also of individual dignity. He involves his followers in a story that promises a happy ending. Now, I know many of you are jockeying for the elections in 2022. But let me encourage you to think about how Modi became a man of dreams and how Nehru set out a challenge to his nation that I know your president holds dearly to his heart. Think about these things first. This is what Nehru said. At the stroke of this midnight hour in 1947, when the world sleeps, India will awake to life and freedom. A moment comes, which comes but rarely in history, when we step out of the old to the new, when an age ends, and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. It's fitting that at this solemn moment, we take the pledge of dedication to the service of our country and to her people. He went on to say, are we brave enough and wise enough to grasp this opportunity and accept that the future is our challenge? The future is not one of ease or resting, but of incessant striving, so that we may fulfill the pledges we have made so often and the ones we must take on board today. For the service of the millions who suffer, said Nehru, the service of the millions who suffer, it means the ending of poverty, the ending of ignorance, the ending of disease and inequality. It means the ambition that the greatest men of our generation have long seen to wipe away every tear from every eye. That is what lies before us, and that must be our purpose. As I have been watching the issues we've struggled with back home, if there's one thing that has bothered me, not just in the UK, but across Europe, North America, and elsewhere, it is that people's faith in democracy is declining. To vote is no longer a potent moment. When Mr. Mandela was elected as president in South Africa, 89% of its voting people came out to vote. Just 2 weeks ago, just 43% came out to vote. Democracy is in trouble. Leadership is not necessarily seen to be about the cause of the people. So I was fascinated by an article written in the Financial Times by the economist Martin Wolf. He was assessing the pressures of democracy worldwide. And he said there are 10 critical principles that every leader in government must pay attention to and hold so that we can preserve the value of democracy and the significance of the people's right. Here are the 10 principles. Number 1, leadership matters. The quality of those who lead is not in their ability to wow the crowd, but it is in their characters and in the essence and quality of their hearts. Generosity, commitment, sacrifice, and service. Second, competence matters. Competence matters because when we promise, we must meet the promise. Competence is less about what others demand, but more about what we know we have promised to fulfill, and therefore we will. Thirdly, citizenship matters. A democracy, says Wolf, is a community of citizens. All of us have that fundamental role to play in building a nation's prosperity and its prospects. It is not for the elite alone. It is for all of us in every corner to grab the challenge. Fourth, inclusion matters. Just like John Vanier, we cannot leave aside those who are disabled or disregarded. It matters that everyone is included and we break the inequality bound that afflicts our nations. Fifth, economy and its reform matters. For without reform, without fair taxes, and these are his comments, without a sound economic fabric, in the end, we only disadvantage the poor more. Sixth, local matters. Because things that matter to people in their neighborhood must matter to people in power and privilege. Seven, public service matters. That public service is not about public servants, but is about the opportunity every one of us has to grab a duty at our corner and do something with it. Number eight, globalization matters because we live in a world we must serve and set an example for, and that's why the work you've done on plastics is so powerful. Number nine, looking ahead matters. A vision must be bigger than the moment of an election, he says. We must always see way beyond the horizon and think in decades and generations. And finally, complexity matters. A politics that rests on popular anger and despotic whim is sure to fail. The only question is how long. The right response has to be a politics that's based on realism, hope, and opportunity. So as you think about that future, as you prepare yourselves, some of you, for the prospects of the years ahead, please reflect instead not on the opportunity for self, but the chance to make a nation brilliant and its people boundless. Let me wrap up with reading you a psalm, the prayer of Moses, Psalm 19. Lord, you've been our dwelling place through all generations. Before the mountains were born, or you brought forth the whole world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You turn people back to dust, saying, return to dust, you mortals. 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. Yet you sweep people away in the sleep of death. They're like the new grass of the morning. In the morning it springs up new, by evening it's withered and dry. Lord, we're consumed by your anger. We're terrified by your indignation. For you have set our iniquities before you. Our secret sins are seen in the light of your presence. All our days pass away under your wrath. We finish our years with a moan. Our days may come to 70 or 80 if strength endures, yet the best of them are but trouble and sorrow. And they quickly pass and we fly away. If only we knew the power of your anger. Your wrath is as great as the fear that is your due. Teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Satisfy us in the morning with your unfailing love, that we may sing for joy, be glad of all of our days. Make us glad for as many days as you have afflicted us, for as many years as we have seen trouble. May the favor of the Lord our God rest on us. Establish the work of our hands for us. Yes, Lord, establish the work of our hands. Mr. President, for you and for your government, for all those you lead, may you discover and see the invisible and see God. Amen.
Your Excellencies, the President, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me take this opportunity now to introduce members of Parliament, both National Assembly and Senate. I'll ask you to be upstanding so that you can be acknowledged. Thank you so much for coming. Asanteni sana. I know me and my colleague will restructure our choir because they have tried their best, but there is room for improvement. So on that note, may I take this opportunity to invite my co-patron and brother, Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi. Let's give him a round of applause.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, Your Excellency, the President of South Sudan, Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Dr. William Ruto, Mama Ruto, Rachel, my Lord the Chief Justice, the President of the Supreme Court, David Maraga, Your Excellency, former Vice President Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, and Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, my good friend, Speaker Emeritus Ken Marende, the Deputy Speaker of the Parliament of Ghana, here with us, Honorable Alban Samana Kingsford, Cabinet Secretaries here present, Governors, CECs, members, speakers from county assemblies, members of county assemblies, our international guests, members of the diplomatic corps, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. I will be very, very brief because after what we've been told by a keynote speaker, Lord Hastings, I think it may be just desirable that we reflect on the message. But let me say that it's my pleasure also to welcome you all this morning to this National Prayer Breakfast of this year, which we've been told is the 17th. And like I did indicate yesterday at the National Conversation, the reason why it is the 17th is something that maybe Your Excellency may wish to reflect, because it must remind us that it is 2003, after the defeat of KANU in the 2002 general elections, that we were able to come together as a parliament and be able to organize for the very first time a meaningful national prayer breakfast. It is important to remember that the National Prayer Breakfast is just that, a national prayer breakfast. It is not a Christian prayer breakfast. It is not a Muslim prayer breakfast, and neither is it a Hindu prayer breakfast. It is just a national prayer breakfast, which brings together members of parliament and other citizens of this republic, as well as our international guests. And we're always happy as Parliament that the President has always been able to attend and grace the occasion and address us. I must congratulate the core chairs, the Honorable Paul Kwenange, Honorable Sam Pogisio, who, as we all now know, could easily be a citizen of South Sudan, or at least could have been mistaken or was mistaken. Your Excellency, the theme for this year's National Prayer Breakfast, I think, needs not be gainsaid. And as my brother, Speaker Lusaka, did indicate, indeed is premised on the profound message that is found in 2 Chronicles, chapter 7, verse 14. And indeed, that profound message that we find there informs most of what we've heard this morning. Indeed, I would wish to also wish our Muslim brothers who, as we know, are observing the holy month of Ramadan, which brings them time to seek the grace of God and His mercies during this period. Your Excellency, having heard what we've been told by various speakers, the scriptures, allow me at this stage to say that we at a moment, as we were told yesterday by the Archbishop, His Grace Ole Sapit, that we must go beyond truth, must begin reflecting on whether we need to continue with the end justifying the means. Is it not time for us to start questioning the means by which we achieve those ends? May I therefore, Your Excellency, take this opportunity as I conclude to invite His Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Dr. William Ruto, to come forward and make his remark.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Your Excellency Salva Kiir Mayardit, the President of the Republic of South Sudan, Your Lordship, the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court, Justice Maraga, the speakers of the two houses, former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, former Vice President Musalia Mudavadi. I don't know why we keep forgetting that once upon a time, Musalia was our Vice President. It may have been for a short time, but I also suffered the same fate. I was Minister for Home Affairs for 2 months. The way Cabinet Secretaries present, ambassadors and high commissioners, leaders of majority in the two houses, our governors who are present here, members of county assemblies, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I said good morning.
Good morning.
God is good
All the time.
and all the time. I'm going to make it brief. First, I want to congratulate the parliamentary choir. I think, to be fair to them, today's attempt was way superior compared to what it was last year. It would have been better, though, if Kajiado County had not come to perform. But I think it will help if we encourage them that it was quite a step from where they were. So Tongi and your team, please keep at it. I think you're making progress. I also want to thank our speaker today, Dr. Michael Hastings, for speaking to our hearts and our minds. And in a very special way that God has used him to speak to the leadership of Kenya and the people of our nation. Thank you very much. And because you have been good to us, your request for a prime minister we have a retired one in Kenya, and we can, and since the Constitution has abolished the position of Prime Minister in Kenya, so he may not have it anytime soon, so we will send you his CV. Maybe you can consider. In any case, we have had people from the UK helping us govern our country. So it may just be a good opportunity for us to pay back and send you something. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Mr. President, we are gathered here at a good moment, and the prayer breakfast is a very special moment to us as the people of Kenya, because this is an occasion that we speak to ourselves candidly in a very straightforward manner, without considering who is in which party, who is in government, who is in the opposition, who comes from what community. So this is a very special moment for us as Kenya. And I agree with Sam Bokisho that other countries may want to consider prayer breakfasts like this that bring people together. And we are, of course, gathered here for good purpose, because the subject today is a new dawn for our country. And what we should do all of us, responding to the call of our president, that we must rid ourselves, our government, our institutions, and our nation of theft and wastage and corruption. It is a good moment, and it's a good subject for us to engage in. And theft and corruption is bad in any language. I will tell you from my mother tongue. It is said, Ngom jorindet, kotabne kinindet. It means the following, that a thief may be intelligent, but not more than the investigator. And I think it is an encouragement to our investigative authorities that it is long held that the job that you do is possible. And as we've said as a nation, you have our support as you help us deal with the challenge that we have. In any case, Exodus 20:15, the Ten Commandments, says, do not steal. It's as straight as that. Do not steal. Therefore, we are perfectly, not just as a nation, but it is also a spiritual fight. And as we do that, we must remember Exodus 20:16, the following verse, which says, do not bear false testimony. The president and I were once victims of schemes and machinations and false testimony. It took the hand of God and prayer for us to get out. And we do not want any Kenyan to suffer such again. And as we pursue this very noble cause for the soul of our nation, we must remember to inspire the hawker to own a kiosk, and the gentleman who owns a kiosk to own a shop, and the one who owns a shop to own a mini market, and the one who owns a mini market to own a supermarket and a wholesale. We must remember to inspire the person who walks to buy a bicycle, and the one who rides a bicycle to buy a boda, and the boda guy to buy a tuk-tuk, and the tuk-tuk gentleman to buy a second-hand vehicle, and the one of the second-hand vehicle to buy a new car. That we must. Because as we've been told by the speaker, this nation does not belong to the elite alone. It belongs to 45 million Kenyans. And finally, I have a confession to make. Finally. I have had occasion to discuss, for example, in 1978, when our founding father passed on. I remember very well, because we were on school holiday, and I was looking after my father's cows. And when around 3 o'clock we were told President Kenyatta had passed on, I remember we hurriedly took the cows home. We ran, literally, because in my mind, I thought it was the end of the world. And then in 1980, when I was preparing to do Standard 7 exams, CPE, that was called then, I remember very well when I went to do the exams, I was barefoot, because, of course, that was the nature of the village life. We didn't have shoes. My father bought me my first shoe in 1981 from a Mr. Onyango on the street for 60 shillings because he could not afford the butter shoes. Why am I saying this? Today, as you can see, the gentleman who did not have shoes is sitting at the high table. With the son of the founding father. So the confession I want to make is, when you see some of us go to church and pray and lift up our hands, sometimes shed tears, make this or that contribution, it is because we cannot forget where God has brought us from. I beg you to understand, some of us have more to thank God for than some of you. So please, I beg you to understand, because sometimes you judge us harshly. With those many remarks, ladies and gentlemen, with the permission of His Excellency the President of Kenya, it's now my humble duty to ask His Excellency President Salva Kiir Mayardit, our guest from South Sudan, to come and make some very brief remarks. Your Excellency, sir.
Please be seated. Your Excellency, Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency William Ruto, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Madam Ruto, all the protocols are observed. I don't know whether it is still morning. Yes, it is still. Good morning to all of you. I am happy, and it is a privilege to me to have been invited yesterday by my brother to attend this national prayer breakfast. I thought I would have gone after other things since morning, because I did not come for more days in Kenya. What I want to say is just very simple. What you are doing is something to heal Kenya from all the wounds that you have afflicted on yourselves. And I want you also to pass the same message to your neighbors. South Sudan is one of them. You know that we are fighting in South Sudan up to now among ourselves. And what are we fighting for? Power. That I want to become the president, I want to become the president. And the result is that innocent lives have been lost. I want to beg you that the initiative that the president took here to bring you together should also go far to reach us also in South Sudan. We are one people. Like my brother who was telling us the story that happened to him in Juba. If he walks on the streets of Juba, nobody will deny that this is a South Sudanese. And in West Pokot, when we were fighting during the liberation struggle, I used to live there. And so when I meet with them, they will greet me with their own language, thinking that I'm one of them. So, I want to congratulate all of you for this initiative that you have taken, and that you are talking very frankly, confessing to yourselves. Today in Juba, there is national dialogue, which I initiated to 2015. And when I started to address the people, it was seen as if it was just a matter of avoiding the implementation of the peace agreement which was signed in August 2015. But now the message has gone down to the bombers, to the Payams, to the counties, and people are now seeing why I call for the national dialogue. I hope it will end just like the way you are going to end this New Dawn program. And that is the way forward. I consider Kenya as my second home. And I always think that, my children who were born here should be given of South Sudan. What I want to tell you, Mr. President, is that the right path. And you move on without any hesitation. Bring your people together. When you are seen to be united in Kenya, other people will take the same example. And after a very short time, the region of Eastern Africa will become one. Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's be upstanding so that we can request His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, to come and make his remarks. Your Excellency, Mr. President, sir.
Thank you very much. Please be seated. Your Excellency, President Salva Kiir of the Republic of South Sudan, and let me say that that little bit of history you mentioned about being in West Pokot, chances are, Pogisho, you may be justified in your request for dual citizenship. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed, our guest speaker, Lord Hastings. By the way, you've just been given an offer of one. I have a couple more I'd like to donate to you. At least for the next 3 years, give me peace. I have very little to say this morning. Very little. Because anything and everything I would have said has actually been said. I have just but 2 prayers. One, especially for those in this room. If only, just for a moment, we could all just stop talking a little bit and just put into practice the things we have said today. Kenya will be a different country in less than 5 years. That's number one. We love talking about it. We love making our commitments. But the practical side, a bit tough. Let's just do it. Let's not talk about doing it. Let's just do it. That is all our people ask of us. Nothing else. We can sing from the rooftops, but all our people want is for us to do what we've said. My second is a prayer directed to my older brother from South Sudan. Peace is possible, but there must be also the intention to have peace. Because at the end of the day, leadership is not about who is president, but it's about service to your people. And the people of South Sudan desperately need peace in order for them to get service that they fought for many years. And Kenya stands ready, my brother, to work with you and all your colleagues to help the people of South Sudan achieve that long-waited for objective of a strong, united prosperous South Sudan that ultimately, as you have said, will join with Kenya and all other East African countries and become one great nation in the service of God and God's people. Kwa hayo machache na mengi, mimi nasema Mungu awabariki, Mungu awalinde, turudi kazini, tutende yale ambaye tumeomba hapa siku ya leo. Asanteni sana.
Thank you. You come and give a vote of thanks, Honorable Speaker.
Allow me to first and foremost give thanks to God for His provision for this morning to us, and thank His Excellency and his guests and all of us for having turned up this morning for this year's National Prayer Breakfast. I want to thank in a special way our keynote speaker, Lord Hastings, the organizers of this occasion, our National Prayer Breakfast team, our international friends who agreed to attend at our invitation, some of which went quite late, but nevertheless have turned up. Our various partners, whom I may not be able to name because there are many, including the media and the private sector, but I will want to single out one partner, Wonder Joy, for continuing, even this year, to provide us with this magnificent facility so that we could be able to listen to one another in comfort. Ladies and gentlemen, I think enough has been said. The President has challenged us to go and do what we say, if we mean it and mean what we say. Thank you very much. When you travel, those are traveling far, travel journey masses. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We have about 2 items. One, I very amazed most of you didn't know that the members can sing, but apart from singing, the honorable members have very many talents, and you'll be surprised many other things that honorable members can do. And for those honorable members and senators who are still shy to join the Parliamentary Fellowship Choir, please don't feel shy. Come. We have other areas where we can put you in the National Prayer Breakfast team. Now, there is really nothing I can add to the wise and enlightening words that our speakers today, led by His Excellency the President, have said they have captured the essence of the day. And as we go home now, let us all take the lessons and advice we have received here today to our homes, villages, businesses, offices, and to our streets. And I would like to quote from the Holy Bible, from book of Isaiah chapter 32, verse 15, that shows the importance of prayer for a country and the rewards of seeking the Lord. And I read, "It is until the Spirit is poured out on us from heaven that the wilderness will become a fertile field, and the fertile field will yield beautiful crops. Let us keep our faith and trust in God in order for us and our country to be blessed abundantly. Prayers transform a nation positively so that it becomes totally healed and becomes very fruitful." The next prayer breakfast will be on 28th May 2020, and we are all welcome in 2020. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I want to call upon Nelson Ashitiva to come on stage and also ask the National Prayer Breakfast Choir to come and sing the last song. And then after that, after the prayers, we have the national anthem. Let's have the Bunge Fellowship team here to sing the last song. Quickly. No, it won't. We have to do it quickly. Please come quickly. Tongi. And we'd like all of you to join us. And the closing song, "My Hope is Built on Nothing Less." Quickly, even here.
The copies are on your table. Kindly, you can help yourself with one. Copies. And certainly I'm encouraged with the positive comments coming from His Excellency, the President, the Deputy President, and all the leaders. We certainly are challenged by Kachiado. We'll go benchmarking sooner than later so that we can improve next time.
We discuss Africa. We see what ails Africa. And today, this afternoon, we want to see whether Sudan will permanently remain a sick child of Africa. Is it a permanent sickness? Can we resolve the issues of Southern Sudan? Is it something that has gone wrong for 200 years? There has always been a problem in Southern Sudan, in that great region, starting from all the way the Alimadi Wars and the rest of all what happened until today. Peace seems to be elusive. Why has UN taken slow action? Why hasn't UN set up a tribunal? We want to see a tribunal that will make sure that Southern Sudan people are accountable. Those who committed crimes against the human beings. 20,000 Sudanese perished. They are perished. They are not accountable. Nobody can account for them. And we cannot sit here, go on hammering peace agreements without mechanisms of accountability. If we set a tribunal for Sierra Leone, for Rwanda, for Camera Rouge, we need somebody to stand up for the poor masses, the masses that have died, the masses that continue to die, the masses that are being brutalized, murdered, maimed on a daily basis by marauding armies of both Riek Machar and Salva Kiir. There must be an accountability. You are not going to sit here and tell people there is no accountability in Southern Sudan. There must be a tribunal. Why do we run to harass countries of Kenya, put ICC on Kenya, put ICC on this country, put ICC on Central African Republic? Why have we delayed on putting a tribunal for Southern Sudan to find out who is killing, who has been killing, how they have been killing people? Let me speak for the people in Southern Sudan, the women, the children who have not gone to school, the children who have no medicine, the children who have nothing, who have been running since 2013, and the war cannot end because of two people. Let them face the tribunal. I'm not going to keep quiet as a Pan-African to see Southern Sudan being maimed, being tortured, being cut, dismembered, and we keep quiet and watch people vote images of people, of malcontents singing to us in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, in South Africa, telling us they have money. Let them face the international tribunal and tell the tribunal who gave them the guns, where they buying them, how they were killing people. Enough of is enough. Enough is enough for Africa. We have had enough. There is no need of that anymore. Enough is enough. And if people have died, they will not cry. We people who are left on planet Earth must cry for them. We must find justice for them. We must make sure that there are leaders who go on bragging on television stations all over the world, who are accountable. They must be behind bars.
In the fight against corruption, it has been demonstrated throughout the world that unless you sustain the war, and it is a war, remember that there are individuals not only in Nigeria but throughout the world who suckle from the breasts of corruption. And they are not just about to win themselves off the suckling. They must be forced out of it, and they'll fight back. Because there are individuals, even in government, in all sectors of government, who now take their children to school on the basis of money corruptly acquired. They live in houses that are corruptly acquired. They do everything on the basis of things that are acquired through corruption. So when you want to stop it, they are going to kill you. They are going to ensure that you are neutralized. These are the people that you are fighting against, because these are individuals whose conscience is dead. and they are going to do anything on earth to prevent you. In fact, when one chooses to fight corruption, one must remember that he or she can't be eliminated at all times. And what President Buhari, and indeed any other president in the world, must do is to recruit the population. If the population has been wedded to the idea that corruption is a bad thing, then that is the beginning of the success of that battle. When I see, for example, your former Minister for Petroleum being investigated in the United Kingdom without being a sadist.
Thank you very much, viewers. You have been watching and listening to the prayer breakfast coming all the way from Safari Park in the hotel in Nairobi, which was graced by two presidents of Africa. One president is the president of Republic of Sudan, and the other president is the host president, President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Viewers, this prayer breakfast forms part of my lecture, part of our show this morning. In this show this morning, we shall look at the prayer. Can prayers in Kenya? And I liked the way the president summarized everything. You can go to the sun, the moon, Venice, pray, come back, talk too many words. But put what you have talked in practice. That's it, that's the message. He did not waste more than 5 minutes. He only spent about 4 and 27 seconds. I know the president very well. And I think that's a sign of it. Something is not happy with him. He's not happy. And I told the leaders, go out, don't speak and do. You are speaking that I was without shoes. But what impression are you giving if today you have amassed wealth illegally? That's it. The message is very clear unless you did not go to school properly. But if you went to school in a proper manner, you could see the message resonates. The president's summary is simple. It resonates with what is there. Go and do it. But when you come and say, because I grew up without shoes and I'm on the table with a man whose father had bought him shoes, because now it's giving us interpretation. Now it gives us the reason to know why you steal. Because you have to steal to equate yourself with the guy who is already on table, isn't it? So interpretations will go different ways. I thought there was going to be a good confession. I don't know, Miriam, you'll have your views, but I was waiting for a confession. Was that a confession?
I was not expecting a confession myself.
There was no confession?
Yes.
I saw the deputy president said he has a confession to make. All of us thought, hey, today there will be a confession. And I like Dr. Lord Hastings. He says 150 not come up in the choir. There is something he said about the choir. There's one person missing in the choir. The fifth, isn't it?
I did not hear the rest of it.
I had.
I was preparing for the show, so I did not get the rest of the speech.
The problem is that where is the confession? I haven't seen it. Instead, I've seen a prolonged angry heart of somebody. Somebody is angry. We have a prime minister, a former prime minister here whom we should give you. It is rivalry. Again, you are in court. You are in church. You are showing rivalry. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? And that's why the president came up to say, I still have, you know, the president summarized and said, that is the problem I have here. But I liked the president of South Sudan. He said, this thing, power, 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 and the president, Riak started it that way. You know what? I think he has said for the first time, although I don't agree on most of his things, for the first time I agree with Mayad. It is true. It is true. I am a great friend of Dr. Riek Machar, very close friend. But he thinks of power. Presidency. You see, the same syndrome is here. Power. 2022, 2022, 2020, 2022, 2020. Must be a president. I must be a president. I must be a president. I must be a president. Oh, Africa. Oh, Africa. Oh, Africa. You see where we are heading? There we are. Today's prayer breakfast in Kenya. Don't forget, we shall talk about Biafra today at 3 p.m. East African Standard Time. Biafra, 52 years ago, the guns went silent. But are people silent? Have you seen the topic? That's it, the topic. My production team is the sharpest team. 52 years ago, the gun went silent and the people silent. That's it. That's the topic at People's Court. People's Court this afternoon at 3 p.m., which is 2 p.m. Nigerian time. Don't miss it. Any Nigerian, any Biafran, any African who knows the Ojukwu Gowon War, I'm going to recite it like I am reciting a poem without notes. This is the guy. Talk to me. I don't operate like a Koinange on being paid by Open Society Foundation to go and interview Mr. Miguna. What type of life are Africans having? It's a shame. Mr. Wanyoike in London, stop spoiling Kenya. Stop spoiling Kenya. And stop dismembering Kenya. Mr. Wanyoike of Open Society Foundation, based in London, we know your plans. And we shall shout out to Kenyans to know, Mr. Wanyoike, stop it. We know whom you are funding, how you are funding, when it is coming, who is being paid. Stop dividing Kenya. If you didn't buy that ticket, Mr. Wanyoike say you didn't, then I bring the evidence. Unaona, tunakushika. Tunashika open. That's how powerful we are. We have networks everywhere in the world. Later on today, with my colleague, who is quietly, silently, has got her own sermon out of the prayer breakfast, Miriam Ogutu, whom I should have welcomed to the show. I take my hand ye, and stay with it. The warmth of my hand gives the salvation of tomorrow. Unfortunately, it is already closed. Keep it for later. You will answer. Thank you very much. We follow everybody. We follow what people do. Mr. Wanyoike of Open Society Foundation, you pay the bills for people to interview Miguna. Oh my. tickets, facilitation. What do you want to talk about Miguna Miguna? Miguna Miguna has forgotten people have moved on. His radical politics might not work here. It could work in Vancouver. So if he can manage to tell Canadians to stop President Uhuru Kenyatta not to go to Vancouver, like I managed to stop Museveni from coming to London single-handedly, because I was powerful in London in the 80s, 90s, early 90s. I could marshal over 3,000 to 4,000 Ugandans. They would come and converge on any conference hall. That's what we call activism of the highest caliber. But one activist shouting in a small roomed hall in Canada, Ottawa, you don't even have a house which has got a garden. He's my friend. Let me leave it there. We have been very good friends for a long time. That's why we don't attack each other. Because if it starts, then it can be murky and messy. I also have a package. You know, among the package holders, I have a package of insults. That mine can make you get a knife and kill me. Miguna equally has a package. He can belittle. One thing I liked about Miguna's interview last night is that you can manufacture money. You can manufacture all those houses, airfields. You can manufacture anything. Tell people what you are, where you are, how you started. But there is one thing you cannot manufacture. The intellectual brain. You can belittle me, belittle anybody on earth. But there's one thing you cannot change. Once he has the tools of analysis, you will not defeat him. That one, Ndugu Comrade Miguna, I agree. I agree. That's why we have not attacked each other since ICC days. When Miguna mistook my Mercedes-Benz that I had hired to run me around The Hague and Amsterdam while the court was going on to be an embassy car. Little known to him, Matanga had about 5 to 7 Mercedes, including British cats, sleeping in one of them. Because at times I don't drive them. But not known to him was that in Hague you can hire the latest Mercedes and you sit in an assassination corner, which is the left-hand corner for the driver to be opening for you. So every time people saw me coming, they took a photograph and then sent it to Nairobi. Then they put on Twitter and they said, the embassy has hired a Mercedes. How can a Ugandan use? I gave a lift to that small man called Moses Kuria because he could not hire a car anyway. He could not hire a car at that time. He can now hire several, even helicopter, which is transformation on the way from Capernaum, the port of Capernaum towards Jericho. There is always transformation. Things change. I don't know what Miriam can say.
Yeah, things change. I'm just still on the prayer breakfast that happened today. That was the 17th annual prayer breakfast that normally happens in this country. For the last 17 years, it has been happening, and it seems as though the venue of choice has always been Safari Park Hotel. It's very conducive, and I think it's very accessible to everybody, and also to our guests normally who are invited in that prayer meeting. And today, of course, the guest was South Sudan President Salva Kiir, and when he was talking, and he gave a very short speech, but I could see another side of him that we've not been able to see. I don't know if there's the desire in him to find peace. And then when President Uhuru Kenyatta came in, and you could see also this is something that is bothering him from the speech President Uhuru Kenyatta made. And he mentioned a few things, and he said peace is only possible, but there has to be an intention to find peace. That is what President Uhuru Kenyatta told, responded to President Salva Kiir. And I thought that is very important. You can sing about peace, but until you decide you really want the peace, and that is what even a lot of South Sudanese have been sharing here. They want peace, but is there really an intention to achieve that peace, or the other people and other factors that are benefiting from the lack of peace that is there right now in South Sudan? So there has to be an intention to have peace. And also, President Uhuru Kenyatta said leadership is a service to the people, not personal. It should be a service to the people when you aspire to be a leader in any country. And also, once he reiterated, President Uhuru Kenyatta reiterated that South Sudanese want the peace that they fought for, and it is time that they really made an intention to find lasting peace in South Sudan. So that is what really stand out for me in that prayer meeting.
What about the Kenyan issue?
Mm-hmm. On the ongoing Kenyan issue?
Yes, the Kenyan issue, because the president touched on Kenya.
Yeah, he said that they should just give him space to work. And I entirely agree with the president on this one. Enough of talking, enough of saying, enough of... Now he wants to, convert the talking into service to Kenyans. And he told the politicians, can you stop chatting? Can you stop the chatter for the next few years and allow me to just work?
3 years left.
To work for Kenyans.
He's just pleading for 3 years are left.
So I agree with the president on that.
3 years left.
It's very difficult to work with all these people.
When people have already gone to the platform campaigning
have you
for power.
Yes.
You know, the link, don't forget they took the keywords here, Miriam. I agree with you. Totally. The keywords here today that were picked from the prayer breakfast: power, corruption, and action. Where is the action? Salva Kiir said people who start singing about power can be very dangerous. It brought chaos in South Sudan. That's what I heard. He said because people started, we have killed so many people.
Yes.
It is true. And I've told you, Riek Machar talks about power all the time. You saw part of the problem which made him disagree with Salva Kiir is that we should reorganize the constitution. You have been there for a long time. Reorganize the constitution, reorganize SPLM to change it so that we can have elections. And there was a president in office. It went on like that until it sparked, triggered a gun battle. Power. This is the same way we are heading here in Kenya.
But also, any politician, anybody who is a politician, it will be hypocritical to tell us that they're not even there for the power. They all are seeking for power. As long as you're a politician, you're there for the power. It's all about power. But now this power, how are you seeking for it? Which ways are you going about it? Is it for the greater good of the country, which sometimes is not the case? But all of them, let's not be hypocritical. The politician is there because of
the power, agreement. The agreement is correct. You are right. All of them want power.
Yes.
But you can't want power in your friend's term of office. Surely.
Yes.
What type of man are you?
How they go about it is the wrong way.
Exactly. Implementation. Your friend has just won a second term where you are involved. Then 2 years in the second term, you spend the whole year going for rallies.
We're using...
You see, any time in this country, look at what is going to come out of this prayer breakfast now. You just wait. Raila Group is also coming out because he has said he wants to send Raila to Britain. Tomorrow's headlines, and by evening, ODM would have called a press conference. You see, we went for prayer, and don't forget my topic is here. Can prayer really fight corruption? Let's not jump anywhere. We are here. Can prayer fight corruption?
Prayer cannot fight corruption. It's just period point.
Have you seen?
Simple like that.
They went there to pray, and then immediately they jump on exporting.
But this prayer is normally just a formality.
Yes, anyway. Exporting Raila to London. You see now, Raila's people are going to say, why did the man say us? I'm telling you, just tune your television there. They are saying it now. They're not happy. So every time someone is bringing sensational buying the sympathy, the sympathy the president has is being bought sensationally. That we are together, this problem brought us together in 2000 and what? Sensational. But if it brought us together, why can't you now change?
They can't, but the problem is solved. Where do they need? So this, what you're saying, he's working, wasting the time of his friend. Let's not use this friendly word very loosely, because there's nothing friendly going on. They're using it very loosely.
Thank you, Miriam.
They had a mission which was achieved. So now what is left?
Thank you, God, Miriam. Thank you.
We can see it very, very outright.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. There is no friend here.
There's no friendship.
There's no even respect here. If you can say that today I'm sitting on the table of the mighty, it means you grew up saying, one day I must. That thing can bring violence. And I'm telling you, if I'm wrong, somebody else will tell me. I thought there was a confession. I'm going to write it on my Facebook that I didn't see confession coming. Did you see one?
What were you expecting? What was the expectation?
Okay, Miriam.
For the prayer meeting.
Is not very happy with it.
No, what was your expectation?
Let's move on.
You seem very disappointed. What was your expectation that was not met this morning? Did they not pray for one?
No, you know, I would have come on my show and continue to fight corruption better.
Yes.
Had I known that there was no confession.
So you had really waited?
Yes, so I pulled my chair to sit back.
From who and about what?
Ruto says he had a confession to make.
And he did. He said he didn't have shoes and now he has many of them.
So,
I believe.
There you are, you gonga.
He gave a testimony.
The president
He testified about the goodness of
the
Lord.
goodness. He did not have shoes. And in fact, for the first time I've known that the deputy president was in 1980. Hey, Jamen, mzee, nipatie heshima. You were in primary doing it, CP what? What is this Kenyan certificate of what?
Before the KCP, before the 844.
Hey! So, wale watu wenye mnazungumza kwa matanga, muache. Kumbe, today I've known, I didn't know. So I can treat all his talk like advise a child. Both in education and both in age and wisdom. From today I also make a confession. I've been so harsh.
On?
Yeah, on a child.
That is not right.
No, honestly. I'm really shaken because 1980 I was working, earning a salary.
That is how Miguna sounds, you know that? That is how Miguna sounds. It's just bring people to a certain level, which is not okay.
So are you saying I am?
No, I'm saying that is how it sounds.
Please don't start it this way on me.
No, just respect.
I am your... No. That one...
Yes.
No, I cannot stomach about this.
I know.
Because now, to be very honest...
With the headlights, and it's annoying, but...
It's very annoying. Let's leave it as you guide me. But I am...
It's a prayer day, so everything today has to be very nice and kind, please. In the spirit of
togetherness, of prayer,
and
the spirit of my brother Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta,
exactly,
making only 4.5 minutes record discussion.
He's tired of talking.
He's tired of talking. He can't make any speech because people, as soon as we leave now,
yes,
if tomorrow was Sunday, they will be They will be on the pulpit. Whoa, 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 Raila.
Sunday is like 2 days, 3 days from now. So.
Whoa. So,
the president did not want to be hypocritical.
No,
he just said what he needed to say, and that's it. Because there's no need standing there giving all this whatever, and then after that you'll be
I expected
a totally different person.
Miriam,
yes.
Can you?
You expected what confession? I want to know.
I thought
about this confession.
No, I thought usually a confession is like this. That.
In the spirit of...
No, the confession is that my first money, I made it by stealing. It would be a very good confession. And ask God.
However, comma, that
however,
comma.
I am now here to tell the world. That is the way, that's the way the confession goes. However, I'm here to tell the world that I'm returning this first money in that format.
But he's been giving it to the churches.
I don't know. And
allegedly, oh my God.
That is a confession. But when you say you want to make a concession, and then you tell us that your mucus was coming out of your nose like me. Me, I used to have mucus. Plenty of it.
That is disgusting.
Not disgusting. I was 5. I came out of my mother's womb when I was 8 kilograms, 8 kilos. No. Pounds.
8 pounds.
Yes, nilikuwa heavy.
About 4
kilos. Heavy. Huyo mtu heavy. Nikuoneshe, can I bring my photographs? Break this and I bring the photograph. Unione. Wewe ulikuwa nafikiri I was not heavy man. I was heavy medium. Leo sikia mimi. I was heavy. 8 pounds. Out of my mother's womb.
And why do you always put words in my mouth? Where
did I saw where you are going. I can see where you are going.
I'm just here at the prayer meeting.
Hey.
Please come back.
Can I bring the photo?
We're still at the prayer meeting. Just come back here.
Confession.
Yes.
Thank you. Now you finish it up. Bring us where Buhari had the sham
inauguration.
Buhari yesterday had the sham inauguration. Salva Kiir is in Nairobi.
Yes.
He has said he loves Uhuru Kenyatta's style of handshake. And is developing it ups, down, down, up, not up, down. You know what? Again today, there's something to be proud of. That's exactly what I wrote. That the peace process of Sudan can never be up, down. It has to be down, up. And Salva Kiir,
from the root.
Thank you very much for doing it now.
So they've been doing it the other way
from
around.
the root, the way I wanted. That's the way Matsanga wrote. Go and look for that document. You cannot sit leaders eating mutton in Khartoum, some pepper in Ethiopia, then you come here Nyamachoma in Nairobi, then you go to Uganda, they eat matoke on that peace talks. No. Go back and ask the people what type of Sudan they want. They will tell you, and there will be permanent peace.
There will be permanent peace.
And thank you very much, Salva Kiir Mayad. Today, you are beginning to shift a bit of my heart.
He's becoming a statesman now.
Yes, you are now talking. Because the whole process of South Sudan has been from up to down. You need down to up. So that Riek returns without fear. Because people would have given him mandate. But when you go and sit in Ethiopian capital and frame English language, write English, comma, this, remove this, useless. You are heading for a tribunal if you do that. But Mayad, now you have impressed me. I can now help you a bit. If it's from down to up, I'm with you.
People-based solution.
Those are the good words I've been waiting for.
It's a prayer day. What can we say?
Prayer day.
What can we say? All right.
Take it on.
Yes, indeed, and thank you so much. When President Salva Kiir was giving his speech at our 17th annual prayer breakfast, I saw a lot of South Sudanese nationalities here writing, and a lot of them were agreeing with what he was saying. Some were not, but they had a very heated conversation here earlier before we came on to show. So thank you so much. And I have some news from South Sudan, so I hope you can keep it here, and then we'll continue to discuss it further as the show continues. This is Good Morning Africa, just a few minutes past midday, and this is the latest coming from Africa this morning. We start with the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the body of opposition leader and father of Democratic Republic of Congo's new president is set to arrive to his home country on Thursday, 2 years after he died in Belgium. The arrival has been announced before, but it had not happened. According to Etienne Tshisekedi's brother, Archbishop Gerard Mulumba, once the body arrives at the airport, it will be taken to the Martyrs Stadium in the capital, Kinshasa, for mourning. Tshisekedi died in Belgium's capital, Brussels, at the age of 84 in February 2017, and his body remained there because of political tensions with former DRC President Joseph Kabila. And still in Congo, parties allied to DR Congo President Felix Tshisekedi and his predecessor Joseph Kabila have finalized agreements on the composition of a new cabinet. And Kabila's party, the Common Front for the Congo FCC, will have 60% of the positions, while Tshisekedi's CACH, a coalition, will take 20%. The deal was agreed in secret discussions in Kasantu, a town 100 kilometers southwest of the capital, Kinshasa. And in Angola, Angola's main opposition party, UNITA, has moved to cool tensions over the handling of the remains of former leader Jonas Savimbi. On Wednesday, there were reports that the row between government and the opposition over the planned reburial of the rebel leader, whose death 17 years ago brought to an end to nearly 3 decades of civil war. The government was due to have handed over Savimbi's body to representatives of UNITA so that he may be buried in his hometown on the 1st of June. And in South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa has announced a new cabinet in which, for the first time in the country's history, half of all his ministers are women. Mr. Ramaphosa, whose African National Congress party won a general election earlier this month, has slimmed down what he called a bloated cabinet from 36 to 28 ministers. And in Sudan, the Sudanese Professionals Association, an umbrella group that has been spearheading protests against the country's military junta, has condemned soldiers for their role in deadly clashes in Khartoum. 1 woman was killed and several people were injured in the violence along the capital's Nile Avenue. And in Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari surprised many when he did not deliver a speech at his inauguration on Wednesday. That 76-year-old, that look on your face. Buhari. The 76-year-old former military leader faces a long list of challenges, including combating a sluggish economy, high employment, and a decade of Islamic insurgency. And he was also required by the law to provide a fresh declaration of his assets before he was sworn in for a second term yesterday. And in Cameroon, the jailed leader of Cameroon's Anglophone movement has issued his conditions for entering a dialogue with the government: a full ceasefire and a release of all prisoners detained in the 3-year conflict. Both sides have said dialogue is the only way to stop the violence, but significant obstacles remain. Sissekou Ayuk Tabe, the president of self-declared Ambazonia Republic, wrote in a letter from his prison cell that any dialogue would have to include negotiating the terms of independence for Cameroon's 2 English-speaking regions. And the Eritrean government has welcomed the impending removal of the country from a blacklist of nations that the U.S. accuses of not fully cooperating with the anti-terrorism efforts. And we go to Zimbabwe, where the government is being challenged to immediately release 7 activists and drop fabricated charges of seeking to subvert the government. Zimbabwe's lawyer for human rights, the local group representing the activists, say that the state security agents arrested all 7 between 20th and 27th, 2019 at the Robert Mugabe International Airport in Harare, the capital, on their return from a workshop in Maldives. And in South Sudan, police have arrested the former president of the South Sudan Football Association after FIFA charged him with misappropriation of funds and the privatization of assets belonging to the association. The police is said to have acted after South Sudan Football Association reported the matter and sought Chabur's arrest over the weekend. And still in South Sudan, an American diplomat has described as exaggeration a recent media report that United States is seeking a regime change in South Sudan. On 17th of May 2019, the Juba-based Dawn newspaper published a story titled U.S. deploys military in Juba as regime change plans underway. However, the deputy to the commander for civil military engagement at the United States America Commander, Ambassador Alexander Laskasi, says the report is misleading and inaccurate. And still we stay with South Sudan, and the government has urged the United Nations Security Council to remove the sanction against it. The World Security Body placed South Sudan in the sanctions list in 2015, following reports of gross human rights violations in the conflict that has ravaged the country. And in Biafra, in case you do not know, today is the 30th of May. Wondering what is happening today? Well, it is the sit-at-home day for Biafrans. The movement for the actualization of the sovereign state of Biafra has said that no amount of threat or intimidation from the security agencies will stop pro-Biafra groups from celebrating the Biafra Day today. A statement issued yesterday by MASOB leader Uchenna Made said that the sit-at-home order must and will take place. He explained that the day was set aside to celebrate Biafran heroes and heroines who died agitating for an independent state of Biafra. And we end with Uganda, where High Commissioner to Kenya, Ribi Otala, has been involved in an accident at Kimwanga on the Eldoret-Malaba Highway. That is the Uganda's High Commissioner to Kenya. And of course, Phoebe Otala, who was involved in an accident in Kimwanga on Eldoret-Malaba Highway, and right now has been flown to Nairobi for treatment. She was flown to Nairobi by AMREF flying doctors. And still in Uganda, a city lawyer, Hassan Male Mabarizi, has dragged the Chief Justice Bart Katurebe to the High Court over purported delayed of age limit verdict. In an application lodged at the Civil Division of the High Court, Mabarizi is seeking an order compelling the Chief Justice to immediately deliver the age limit verdict, to give him the reason why it has not yet been delivered within 60 days as required under the law. On December 20th, 2017, the Parliament amended the Constitution, which uplifted the President's age limit and also the term of Parliament to 7 years, which prompted Mabirizi and 4 others to petition the Constitutional Court. And on July 26, 2018, the Constitutional Court, in a majority decision of 4-1, allowed the removal of presidential age limit, but unanimously declared the extension of the term of members of Parliament and local government as unconstitutional. So that is the latest this afternoon from Africa. Thank you so much for joining us. This is Good Morning Africa.
Thank you very much, Miriam, for the good analysis of African events. I begin with Uganda. I am one of the few supporters and mentors of Lawyer Mabirizi.
I have heard you mention him before.
Yes.
So many times. Yes.
I am happy. For me, we shall take that route.
Court.
The court, yeah, I am very good at the court.
Yes.
I am not badly off. I'm not going to fight again. I'll never get a gun to fight again.
You're not going to be a militia.
I'm not going to be, no, I was an, yes, Mogambo. Chikosi Maalum. Mwanamgambo. Kutoka Tanzania. Makati ya 78, 79.
When I was growing up, I used to hear Wanamgambo wa Hezbollah. And I used to wonder,
yes.
who are these?
So now,
used to be Mwanamgambo.
Thank you very much. Mabilizi, you have my support. Go on, boy. We shall help you. Let's not fight. Let's not beat about the bush. Let's not create violence. Let's seek other channels where Uganda's problem could be solved without shedding blood. That's all. Mabilizi, you are with me. I am with you, my younger son. Come on. I was very happy when you filed an application in the East African Court, which sits in Arusha. Let them interpret to us what democracy is. And by the way, President Museveni, if you didn't know, you are looking for the East African presidency. Handle us properly. Because this court is working. It will be working by then. Because other East Africans would like to know which type of person they want to select. You can have a roadblock in that court.
And Mabirizi wants the Ugandan High Court.
We have gone there.
With this, give a verdict.
I am with the boy.
He moves forward to other.
With the boy. We want the verdict.
Yes.
We want to place it in the East Africa. We shall go far.
Yes.
We are not fighting with guns, no stones. We are not interrupting anybody. We are not telling people to come on the streets. No, there's no need. There is a civil way of dealing with men who don't deal with intellectualism. And Mabilizi is an intellectual in Uganda politics. Give him a credit. You can despise him on the streets, but we intellectuals love him. You file an application, you allow the court to make a verdict, you don't fight after it has gone against you. You go home and look for another loophole.
Other avenues, yes.
Like I did with ICC. Give me a credit, my good smiling German friend. They chased me in one court, I ran in another court. That's how I defeated ICC, which Deputy President Ruto keeps on talking about, that we were free.
So you wanted that...
Yet he doesn't know how they were free.
Should have appreciated that.
They should have appreciated.
The more in the prayer.
But that is the confession I thought. Oh, did you know? I thought that was the confession I was going to get today. Oh.
Seriously?
Yes. Okay. Then he went to tell us about shoes.
It's important.
Oh, Mama.
He always finds shoes at what?
Mama Nangai. Oh, Mama Nangai. Mamu. You see, Mabilizi is doing what Matsanga did on the ICC. And Mabilizi is my younger man. If I get 2 shirts of Marks and Spencer, 2 good suits, Mabilizi, they are here. Go on, push on, Mabilizi. Don't be threatened. You are not using violence. You are not eating anybody. You are not calling on the people like Bob Wine and Besigye are calling on the people to demonstrate. No, Mabilizi is using the law. And let Ugandans even thank Mabilizi more, because we are going to get this guy somewhere. You know, we are going to get him. The East African court will rule in favor. I'm telling you. And that implication goes back. You want to stand as the president of East African community. Walai, uwezo ingia. Watanzania watapetition. Wakenya watapetition. Yes. Kenyan is here with petition.
Especially Kenyans.
Yes.
Petition.
So check. I don't know who advises Museveni, but I'm not one of his advisors. I would just know that this term limit thing, age limit, is deadly. It can stop a future engagement, which has been his dream, to become the first chairperson or president of the East African Confederation. Mabilizi, struggle on. You are not killing anybody. You are not calling upon Ugandans to break people's property still. You are not using a gun. You are using the brain. Some of us accept you as a man of brain. Let's go on. If you need any petition, any writing, any English, add me.
Legalese.
Yes.
Good.
I'm bad boy on that. Any good quotes, I will give them. Because the heart of a volunteer does not cry much. It is only the heart of a paid mercenary that cries much.
Because a volunteer does not expect anything in return.
Thank you very much. Finish it for me there. There you are. Let's come back to this Mr. Buhari.
To Mr. Buhari, yes, and Congo also. Tshisekedi's father's body is back after 2 years in Belgium.
Congo is half again.
I know. It's not a very good president now.
You can't have the president and have the government 60% from a different place. Africa baffles me.
Yeah.
That's it.
I was baffled.
Yes.
Because
60% of the ministers.
Kabila is in charge of this country.
Yeah, I told you.
Completely.
Kabila was just going back to be in charge from the background.
60% of the leadership of that country is in his hands, in his party.
Because he was given the thing free. So you can't have a say.
That's the price.
Yes.
He has to pay.
You pay the price of being a mafikizolo.
So he'll be a lapdog for the
Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, but this is what it appears.
The Germany one.
And the German, that one cannot be a lab. The small one, the Chihuahua maybe.
Chihuahua. Pajero's show from London. Thank you very much. The situation is very, very juicy. This afternoon at 3 p.m. Nigerians, Biafrans, wherever you was, we have delayed that program colorfully to come at 3 p.m. We want to discuss. The guns were silenced 52 years ago. Have we silenced the people? I think they have framed it the way I framed it first. Here now the brain is not working again.
What? You have a mind block?
No, it has looked at your eyes. And it become, yes, it sees mirage. I told you never to ask me.
We're live.
Yes, and I'm telling you. Brain.
No, you're telling them.
Thank you very much, viewers. Let's come back to the seriousness. You see,
uncoordinated troop movement
is causing trouble.
It's discouraged, especially on this platform. But yes, and I don't know how would you think President Tshisekedi is feeling right now. His father died and could not be brought to DR Congo when Kabila was in power. Now 2 years later, his father is being brought to be buried in Congo. You think he'll be feeling very nice with President Kabila? I don't think. And in Congo, there's this peace that is very unsettling. It's peace, but not really. I think if it's not very handled very nicely, I don't know. But of course, the father of President Tshisekedi, DRC's president, body is being brought to Kinshasa. Actually, it is arriving today and will be taken to the Mata Stadium. Remember, he died in 2017, 2 years ago, but he was not able to be brought back to be buried in Congo because of the political tension then between President Joseph Kabila and the family of Tshisekedi. So it was impossible for the body to be brought and to be buried in Congo. But now it's being brought today and will be buried after 2 years being in Belgium. I don't know if the body was preserved or it was buried and now they're going to exhume it. I don't understand, but the body is being brought to Congo to be buried again. And yes, so your favorite president, Buhari, was inaugurated yesterday, and he did not even give a speech. He only read his oath.
Because that was it. He doesn't look like he's the real man. There are two pictures coming out.
That's what I thought.
And the people have been wondering whether Buhari is the same man or the other one. So let's look at that Buhari pictures later on in the evening, in the afternoon, when we are dealing with Nigeria. The war in the Biafrans today all over the whole world, including myself. We are celebrating, or we are commemorating. That's the best word.
The heroes.
Commemoration.
Yes.
The fallen people, heroes.
Yes.
Of the people of Biafra.
Yes, indeed.
Who died from the guns of General Aronzi. Remember Aronzi? That's the guy
who was in power,
who sparked. After that, things went on like that. A coup took place. They assassinated the prime minister. Remember the man who was killed? Baba Tafa Balewa. Talk to me.
I'm listening.
Today, in the afternoon, it is going to be fire. I'm going to energize myself. I don't know with what. So that I don't look at anything anymore.
You need to stop. And now in South Sudan, the South Sudan Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ndeng Dang Deng, said on Wednesday that he thinks that it's time the UN lifted some of these sanctions against South Sudan. And his reasons that he gave is because he believes that the country now is very stable, and he added that the war is over. Where does this man live? Does he?
This man lives like Henry Rotich.
He lives somewhere.
Have you seen some similarity with Henry Rotich?
Somewhere in a bubble.
Yes, Henry Rotich
said, very detached.
Henry Rotich told the World Bank that we are.
You know what? They're actually about to say. We've done
Africa.
We've done life.
Can we move on to Zimbabwe, please?
We've done life.
Close Henry Rotich.
And close all the loopholes. Of course.
Henry Rotich said we close.
All the loopholes.
Now this man from South Sudan, the
Deputy Minister
of Foreign Affairs says the war is over.
He's saying the country is very stable.
Stable.
And the war is over. And I'm thinking, where is this man from? Has he been in the mass for the couple of since
Bismarck says I should find Nguli, meaning Uganda Waraj.
What is that?
There is a political fire in Ash in Congo, Kinshasa, Mobimba. Let's play this African song. Bring it on, Fred. Bring the song yesterday. The one, oh Africa, oh Africa, oh Nipende. Hey, let's bring it on. As we take a break, then we come back and talk about Zimbabwe. Yeah. Because where we are heading with Miriam, we have a problem. Because Miriam is telling me there is another man saying that Sudan is very stable.
And the war is over. Please, South Sudanese, talk to us.
Just as Rotich.
You know, it's funny, but
Rotich, the Minister of Finance in Kenya, said
all corruption.
In a letter to the bank. Surely.
And you know the World Bank put it on the website. So
yes, and the World Bank put it on the website. But since it is good money coming.
But it seems the money is already here. So they they believed him.
Are we dealing?
All loopholes have been closed.
Which loopholes?
And lifestyle
when FMIS
to all civil
FMIS is sending templates of the president South Sudan. Now Salva Kiir has come. I hope this function of Safari Park. Oh Africa. Oh Nifende. You know God said
you are corrupting that song.
Ah la 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 la. Africa. Oh Nifende.
Hey. That's what they say.
Yes, it means
you're
so.
Corrupting. You can be corrupting.
My voice is gone. Mama would sing for you. I used to be a man, a band leader, bro.
I tell you, you can still be.
You have forgotten. You have seen my guitar.
Yes.
Yes, I used to be a band leader. I used to be called Veve.
Veve is the name of Mira.
You saw the Africa, oh Nipende, hey Africa, oh Nipende. We are waiting for the song. Do you have it? There you are. very much, viewers, for listening to that song, the melodies of the 60s. Very good song encouraging Africa to liberate itself. Stand up to liberate yourself. Stand up to work for the continent. Stand by the president. Stand by your elected leaders. Don't look at regime change. Don't listen to George Soros. That interpretation comes clear to you. The people of Zimbabwe, stand up, defend your country. Your country must not be taken over in a second wave of regime change by George Soros. Stand up, Africa. That's a good song.
Such a beautiful melody.
It brings us to the topic of Zimbabwe.
Yes, is Zimbabwe
hurtling
to regime change?
Yes. Answer is yes. Today is closed down. The city is in. I think let's get some fresh photographs coming right from Zimbabwe. I told them for 1 year, I've been telling them, they don't listen. Everybody in Zimbabwe says he knows, he knows, he knows. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. That's the word in Zimbabwe. When you find them, I know. We know. These guys have been coming closer, closer, inch by inch. They have been training people of supply lines, of how they are going to trigger. It has found itself, a liter of petrol in Zimbabwe today is costing $7.
700 shillings, Kenya shillings.
700 or more, a dollar.
Yes, yeah, 700.
Yeah, 700 shillings equivalent, or 800.
1 liter.
1 liter of petrol.
Life must be really difficult over there. That's expensive.
Yes, and it has become unmanageable in the sense you can't talk about how you have improved the economy when you can't walk, when you can't go to work, when you have nothing in the hospitals to pump, no fuel, no diesel. The country is coming to a halt. The NGOs have said they want to do a shutdown. The police released this, its stand and its statement. So we expect a confrontation, which would be, they want to provoke the army, they want to provoke the police, they want to provoke the agencies to rise up against Emerson Mnangagwa. There's no more talking. There's no more beating about the bush. These guys who are telling us they do this, they are doing this. No. Let's say if Emerson has people to pick it from us, here, pick it. I'm not going to get involved. I've done my best to advise, to tell them, get rid of these guys. They are coming for you. Seriously. They are there. There's George Soros. There is Vanguard Africa called Jeffrey Smith. They are everywhere. The country has helped itself. The regime change that was started long time ago with targeted sanctions has continued. Americans want to push ZANU-PF out of power. The aim is not Zimbabwean people. The aim is revolutionary parties must die. No white man forgives you until you are gone to the grave. That's a fact. And if the leaders in power today don't see that, then they are stupid. I'm sorry. And I've said it now today. They are my friends. But if they don't see that, then they don't have the ability that no Muzungu can give you a reprieve of sleeping when you defeated him. Remember, Mugabe and the ZANU-PF and the ZIPRA defeated the white people, removed them from power. Ian Smith was left to the dustbin of history. The butcher of Zanzibar died. Who removed the butcher of Zanzibar is Mugabe, Mnangagwa, Chiwenga, and the rest, who went into Mozambique, Tanzania, and Uganda, Kenya, and other places to learn guerrilla tactics, to go and fight Ian Smith. That country was not got from a silver platter. It came from the blood of the people of Zimbabwe. The black, the whites, that some who were whites were with them, fighting against a unilateral declaration of independence. From then, they have not kept quiet, and they will not keep quiet until they make sure that they institute their own government they want. They want to declare a government they control. The biggest problem of the leadership of Zimbabwe today, they don't see left, they don't see right. They don't know center, they don't know back. I don't know. These guys are everywhere. The whole weekend, you saw all leaders from Africa opposed to their status quo in their countries, marching on Harare. Bob Wine was in Harare. Bob Wine, you know him from here, a radical student leader, was in Harare.
A member of parliament as well.
A member of parliament. Mm-hmm. The people who give sleepless nights in their governments.
Were all in Harare.
They were all in Harare.
I saw the photos on social media and I was wondering.
It is true.
Where are these people? They
entered the Harare, and many other civil society groups around Africa and Southern Africa, all the way from those countries. The people opposed. The second generation or the third generation of Mugabe was in Harare. They said time has come for us to push you out. That's the message they said. Bob Wine himself, while addressing MDC conference, he said, when I came out of the airport, I was told not whether I'm going to sing or not. And I signed the form to say we would not do any singing. But in the rally in Gwendi, in a place where the rally was MDC, he sang. But because he was a guest of MDC, the police and immigration could not interrupt his singing. Bobu Owino, the message he left in Harare is do it now. 3 weeks ago, intelligence intercepted indicates that the demonstrations would begin immediately after the Congress of MDC. This intelligence was passed on to some people in Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe's economy is the melting point. Zimbabwe's economy is the Waterloo. The Battle of Waterloo is on Zimbabwe economy. I want to categorically tell President Mnangagwa that when he appointed this man, I refused him. I refused the current minister. And I put it in black and white. I want to be very categorical that a textbook man cannot heal the problem of Zimbabwe today. Zimbabwe needed an economist who is a political economist. Zimbabwe needs what we call a legal, political, economic bypass. The heart in Zimbabwe is dead. You need a bypass, a political, economic, legal bypass. My brothers in Zimbabwe, listen to me. I am your fellow African who has struggled for you. You need a legal bypass, a legal, political, economic bypass. When the heart is sick, look for a way to send a pipe inside the heart. The economy is sick. You cannot run that economy on textbook philosophy. You cannot run that economy of Zimbabwe. The man is clueless. I told President Mnangagwa is my friend, and I want to state here categorically that he is clueless. He cannot run the economy of that country. Help me, oh God. It is sad, therefore, that we sit, we watch darker forces operate, organize, strategize, equip logistically the civil society of Zimbabwe, inside Zimbabwe and outside Zimbabwe, train troops outside in neighboring countries. There are 3 or 2 training camps in neighboring countries where people are being trained on how to demonstrate on the streets of Harare. If the directors of intelligence in Harare cannot pick this, they should be sacked. They are useless. This is being done in one of the 2 neighboring countries are hosting these youth. What evidence do you want? Kasukwele told you he will go in war. He has the money, he has the will, he has the assets. Moyo is writing today on Twitter, on handle, everywhere. Jonathan Moyo is writing, inciting younger men to go and pick up guns to fight Mnangagwa. We are watching him. Nobody is doing anything. You go the other side, Walter Mzembe is busy. You go the other side, Bonyongo is busy. You go the other side, there is Amai Mugabe herself, the fundraiser, the donator of the stolen money. She's paying people to overthrow Mnangagwa. Hello? Because they don't see each other. Mugabe, wherever he is smiling. But the main thing behind all this regime change is not changing Mnangagwa. It is removing ZANU-PF from power. I want to tell you, they want ZANU-PF out of power, just as they want ANC out of power, just as they want Frelimo out of power, just as they want MPLA out of power, just as they want CCM out of power, just as they want NRM of Museveni out of power. I'm telling you. And those African states have mentioned, watch your steps. Watch your steps. George Soros has more money than the American government. George money launders money. George Soros sends mercenaries to kill people across the world. America has never given him a warrant of arrest. Why don't you ask yourself why? When you are being told things in Zimbabwe, don't have a narrow mind. Expand your mind beyond your horizon. If you are misleading the president, just walk away quietly. Because Mnangagwa is under siege. Having a PhD does not mean you can be able to learn more problems of Africa. You need extra knowledge. The PhD is a paper just is handed over to you. But knowledge, inborn wisdom is what leads a country. While these events are taking place, another group of Zimbabweans are pressing the international community to set a tribunal. I think you have seen it somewhere. It is working. Mnangagwa seems not to be worried about the tribunal. I don't know what he knows or what he doesn't know. But His Excellency President Mnangagwa must be told the truth, that there is a tribunal in offing to try him somehow, since Mugabe cannot be triable, somewhere in Europe, about the people who died in Matebeleland. That's a fact. And don't lie to people, because I'm not lying for you to give me $1. I don't need it. You have your money, but I'm telling you so that I don't want to meet you on the streets of Johannesburg, people calling you ex-president. It is gathered most. It has gathered moist. The river has gathered the steam. I'm telling you, it's bubbling towards Harare. All these boys funded by Open Society Foundation were in Harare. They told Chamisa himself. Let me tell you, Mr. Chamisa. Mr. Chamisa is like this. This is a man who claimed to have studied law, but he breaks the law every day. The Supreme Court said you lost an election, you put a petition, the petition was thrown out. As a good lawyer, you go back and strategize on how you can defeat, seal the loopholes next time. Chamisa has refused. The purpose of regime change now in Zimbabwe is to force Mnangagwa to speak with Chamisa on equal terms in Zimbabwe. If you am wrong, just give it. If the shutdown goes on today, tomorrow they will come. They will force the soldiers to protect the interests of the properties of the people of Zimbabwe. They will erupt violence. They have stationed international media houses to speak about the violence, the killings that are taking place in Zimbabwe. Viewers, there is a problem. And that problem is the people don't listen. There is a problem that Zimbabwe could become another Khartoum. Because the people cannot afford to buy fuel at $8 per liter. There is a problem that people cannot buy a loaf of bread for $2. There is a problem that we need to assess to help the people of Zimbabwe today. Do we give them financial help? Does Africa have the muscle to help the people of Zimbabwe? It is sad. It is very sad that we sit here, we watch people who claim to be advising the president, in quotes, tell lies while they are stealing the little what is available in terms of few dollars, banking it in South Africa and in Kenya and other places. There is a problem, Mr. President. You are my president. You are my friend for 17 years. We have been friends. I've gone to your room, your rural home. I've slept in your rural house. I've been there for you at the time when it is needed. But now you seem to be listening to people who are not telling you the truth. Look at the temple of Pompeii, 44 BC, when Julius Caesar was finally stabbed. It is sad that mercenaries within the government and outside the government have stationed themselves and focused on the dismembering of the state of Zimbabwe. Viewers, I leave it to you, and I over to Miriam to ask a couple of questions.
And before I just ask a couple of questions, I think I also read that part of our news this morning, and Zimbabwe's government is being challenged to immediately release 7 activists and drop what activists call fabricated charges of seeking to subvert the government. Now, Zimbabwean lawyers for human rights and the local group representing the activists say that the state security agents arrested all 7 between May 20th and 27th this year at the Robert Mugabe International Airport in Harare, where is the capital of Zimbabwe, on their return from a workshop in Maldives. Now, the workshop hosted by the Center for Applied Nonviolent Action and Strategies focused on peaceful resistance. The charge sheets against the activists specify the meeting and its training in civil obedience. So actually, that is what the charge sheet for these activists read when they were being taken to court, and they're being charged with subversion. And it is they were in a center somewhere, Center of Applied Nonviolent Action and Strategy in Maldives. So that's why they were being trained for a civil obedience, a peaceful resistance. That is what they were calling it, and the government was not hearing any of that. So right now they've been arrested, and the civil society want them to be released.
No, the truth is that in Maldives, George Soros, for example, did you know that it was Mr. Wanyoike who paid for Mr. Koinange to go and interview Miguna?
I missed that interview. I was revising for my test today, but I think I'll watch
it.
I
leave you to go early.
No, I'm fine. I read, so that's why I missed that interview. I think I'll watch it later.
Okay.
Tomorrow or something. But
no.
It made headlines. It made headlines in the. I was watching it in the morning on social media. So what was the interview about? What was so different that we've not heard from Miguna?
No words. No words. Let's see. You know what?
Yes.
The problems of Africa. Now breaking news coming. I told you. Something has come on Kenya. The Citizen newspaper of Kenya says,
yes,
just right now, breaking news. Uhuru Ruto remarks annoys Uhuru at National Prayer Meeting, Safari Park Hotel. I told you. I know the president very well.
You said it.
He had a speech.
Yes.
But when he had people, when the man said he had a confession, I thought he was going to give us a confession.
Testimony.
Where is the confession?
Testimony.
Then he should have told us he had a testimony. A confession means you are going to tell people what you have done wrong, and you want to come back and tell them, I started by stealing, and I've amassed wealth to this degree. So help me God. But the man told us a lie, and he felt ashamed himself. You could see. Then he went on to read, don't victimize people in Exodus. Is it Exodus? This, that. I told you, the headlines are here. The United States America ambassador.
Yes.
What? I'm a gonga. Twitter. You know we are newsmen. We bring you hottest news. Hottest news. The latest hot news from...
You must be gender sensitive. You cannot say we are newsmen.
We are news people. I'm avoiding to look at...
You must be gender sensitive.
I'm avoiding to look at you. So
because when you say
let
newsmen...
me first, if I see news lady, I'll lose my words.
Stop it.
Now, United States ambassador has now written to the newspaper that in a tweet, the United States ambassador says Kenyan leaders are praying and asking for forgiveness for the sin of thievery at 17th annual National Prayer Breakfast. What a good start to take the nation on the path for prosperity the Wananchi deserve. We must all do our part. That's mocking us. Have you seen the ambassador? You say ambassador mocks National Prayer Breakfast. That is the headline on the site. It's gongering. I told you.
Because he doesn't, but I would agree with
because we expected a confession. That from today...
You expected a confession.
No, everybody. Didn't you see everybody in the prayer breakfast kept quiet? That today things are going to happen. Miracle.
They became attentive.
Attentive miracle.
Okay.
Then the man came up with no miracle.
He's not a, well, I wanted to say he's not a miracle worker, but you know.
No, he's a miracle worker, he told us. Miracles happen, you know?
Yeah, 17 billion is there. I mean, 7 billion is there for the dams.
The money of Aroro Dam went. There was a miracle. Someone said it's not 21 billion, it is 7. It has gone. I tell you, it is gone. When you see them with the new suits, they wear this to impress people. Me, Matanga, I'm still with one suit, this coat. Don't you see me with it? I'm useless.
You've not realized there's the nice Italian shops in town here.
There is no size there.
Okay.
They have even told those people not to import Matanga size. Have you seen how they hate me?
That is corruption. That is wrong.
Yes.
They should confess that.
That's what they should have confessed. How did they block Matanga from buying a suit in town?
How have you sucked me into this suit conversation? I don't understand.
I better. Because... Thank you very much, viewers. Let's spend the rest of this time to look. The people of Zimbabwe deserve...
Yes, and let's just read the ambassador. Please don't take it off the screen fast. The Kenyan leaders are praying and asking for forgiveness for the sin of thievery on the 17th annual National Prayer Breakfast. What a good start to the nation on the path of prosperity. We must all do our part. Oh my God, this is, it was more, yes. What a good start. Praying for corruption to go away. And then the players of that prayer, I think, is what he was turned with. Like, seriously. Some people are coming here with a straight face and still talk about corruption, you know. I think he was also shocked with that. That is the peculiarity and I think the beauty of being a Kenyan.
No, what is a confession?
That you were waiting for.
you know what?
Mm-hmm. Bishar Nur, you're watching us from Garissa. Thank you for watching us. Emmanuel Nyakonda, thank you for watching us. And Bol Yang, you're watching us from Australia. Good evening, and thank you for watching.
You know what?
Yes.
We lost it. Africa, we lost it.
Yeah.
Kenyans, you younger generation who are growing with your children here,
You should be worried.
I'm very worried. The president took only 4 minutes and 27 seconds.
He was annoyed.
He was annoyed.
You could tell.
I know my brother, I know him for a long time. He wasn't himself. Because when you tell people you have a confession, then you end up going to tell people that today I am on the same table
Did he feel as
with
though
the mighty.
Did he feel as though maybe his deputy went off?
Of guard, yes.
Those are not things you say, especially in such a
gathering.
setting. Yes.
That marks the end of departure
Or maybe the DP maybe forgot he was in one of those rallies he goes to.
of Tanga Tanga.
These churches.
Yes, Tanga Tanga rally. Wanderer.
But he had a point.
Bolton Wanderers.
Bolton Wanderers.
Don't forget on Saturday, we Liverpool. We live longer, we walk together. Don't forget, don't give us up. I'm a Liverpool fan for 41 years. Give me help, oh God.
Hey, you've started.
I have no confession to make.
Yes.
Yes, I have only, what is the other word you say?
We still have it tomorrow.
There's a confession and?
To pray for
No, we have started arriving in Madrid. And by the way, I gave somebody a free ticket.
Oh.
Someone knows himself.
A free ticket to Madrid?
Yeah, if he marries. If he went for a wedding.
Is it your lost son? Sam.
Not Sam. Sam has not even tried to marry.
Sam supports Liverpool.
Yes.
So I was telling him to not.
There was another mafia in the town I was trying to give a ticket.
Yes.
If he married Jack Maribe. But unfortunately, I found out that Jack Maribe
No. We need to get away from Jackie Maribe's
No, she has not.
gate right now. Just
She has not
take
got.
Take left.
But you asked me who? That's exactly what I'd given a ticket for people to fly to Madrid to watch the football, the final between Liverpool and Tottenham.
Yes.
I am a Liverpool fan for 41 years. I have no regrets. We don't tell lies. If we have lost, we go back to repair our loss.
And they're used to losing.
Yes. The only game that came to our lifeline was in Athens, not Athens, Ankara.
Yes.
Not Ankara, the other city of Greece. There's Athens and another one. Any Liverpool fan there can tell me where Gerrard scored 4 goals and we took the cup. It was in one of the cities in either Turkey.
The UEFA Cup.
Yes.
Okay.
Turkey. Yes, it was in Turkey. In Ankara, there's the capital city of Turkey is not Ankara. There are two. There are two cities. I don't know why because of you again.
Hey, Koang, thank you for
Look
watching
there.
us from Denmark. Okay, fine. I'll look at Koang.
Yes, look at Koang is.
we are anyway living here, so you don't have to worry about people to get you.
So, in a nutshell,
yes,
I'm a Liverpool player fan.
You almost shocked me.
I know how to play football, Muriam.
I also played football as a striker.
Hey. So we have a lot in common.
Oh yeah, we love sports.
We have a lot in common.
Yes.
Yeah, I told you, we have a lot in common. You better think seriously.
On that revelation, we'll see you tomorrow.
Is it Istanbul?
Istanbul. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Douglas. Thank you for saving
Douglas.
the day.
Why do I get turned off these days. When you're watching, you get turned off. George Clark, me, or who?
John Clark, thank you.
You better tell us what we can do.
Did you just join? We were through with the news. We're just wrapping up the show.
We are wrapping up.
Maybe you came in a bit late.
You came in, but please.
Tell us what you mean.
Are we the ones turning you off, or you're turning off yourself? Maybe we are doing things not rightly. Please, you are one of our top fans.
Yes, possibly.
We would like to inbox us. Mm-hmm. Inbox me and tell me what is going on. Yes. Because you have been watching this whole thing for a long time. Mm-hmm. I have not encroached on any territory.
No, that cannot happen.
Because there is no territory here.
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It looks like John Clark is not very happy. Mm-hmm. What haven't we done good? We don't want to lose our top fan. John Clark, get the meaning. We were talking about Zimbabwe. We talked about the safari park prayer. Mm-hmm. Meeting. And some of these things at times you must bring sense of humor, so that the people, you know, you might not be in Kenya. We are in Kenya. We see the problem.
Yes, we will come.
Invite us to Denmark. We shall come.
As long as it's not winter.
Yeah, Miriam fears winter, but I can walk without a shirt.
On winter?
Yes.
I can skate, so it's okay. But, okay.
So,
but not winter. I don't like the cold.
We have passed the hour. Thank you very much. We want to thank all the people of Africa, those who have helped us, supported us.
Yes, indeed. And for those who are joining, Kwang, you know, President Salva Kiir was in Kenya today, and he attended the Kenya's prayer day today, and he had a lot to say. And from what I saw from his face, he seems as though he's really serious about this peace thing. But the President, Uhuru Kenyatta, challenged him and said, peace is possible, but there has to be an intention. There has to be a will to want that peace. So thank you so much. So that is the latest. And of course, in the afternoon, we'll be having a conversation about Biafra. Today is the 30th of May, and you're having the seat at home. So don't think that we are not talking about it. We are just saving
3 p.m.
For a show at 3 p.m.
Sharpen all your ears.
Yes.
Biafra come, here we come, Nigeria, here we come. 52 years, end of the war. Is the war over? I'm just going to be innovative. Do we stand today to commemorate?
To commemorate?
Yes.
Okay.
For at least 10 minutes, talking while we're standing.
About Biafra?
Yes.
So we'll do that in the afternoon?
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
So we'll stand in the afternoon?
Yes.
Okay, we can work that out.
I'm preparing you.
It's fine, I stand.
For you, you're a baller. Baller, what is it called?
John Clark does not hear that.
No, John Clark has now explained the problem.
Yes. So when he tunes, he's not able to get us, or what is the problem?
I will follow you later on the day news. I don't know. He hasn't said. He said when he tunes, he's cut off. I don't know who cuts him off. Maybe someone is cutting him off. He doesn't want him to follow us. Or we are saying some things that are not making him happy. Yeah. Be precise, Baba.
Possibly. All right. Thank you for your feedback. We appreciate that.
First of all, we are not monks or nuns.
Don't speak for me. You don't know if I changed overnight. All right. We see you. We see you at 3 p.m. for People's Court, I believe.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes. All right.
Thank you very much. This station is for Africa, with Africa by Africa. Charles.